So now we have the long-awaited fight between Piccolo and Kami. They both look at each other, and Piccolo launches a devastating right hook on Kami's face, nearly launching his head off. It's how strong it was. As Kami realizes he's not fighting any ordinary foe, as Kami goes straight into his Kaioken times 4 state, as they battle. It's a long battle, and he can see that Piccolo's holding back. He's not even trying, as Piccolo's laughing, his brain contaminated by Bulma's influence. Piccolo only thinking evil thoughts in this state, even though he's not actually a bad person. Doesn't matter, as Piccolo's chipping away at Kami, bit by bit by bit by bit. Goku is running at the speed of his life. He's dashing there, he's sprinting, he's doing whatever he can. He's not sure if he can save his friend. He's doing whatever he can do. As he runs as fast as he can, he does whatever he's able to do. As eventually he makes it to planet Earth, and as he looks towards where the battle is going on, all he sees is Piccolo standing over someone. As he looks down, and he sees the head of his only friend dead there on the ground. Something triggers in Goku. This creates a rage hit no one had ever seen, on this planet. No, I'm not gonna give him Super Saiyan, by the way. It's too early for that. But anyway, the ground cracks underneath him. His eyes turn yellow, they turn a sharp yellow. He launches an ethereal growl, and he shouts, Kaioken. This combination between Ozaru and Kaioken, boosting his power 20 times. Combined with the fact that he had been training a Kinkai's lookout, making this guy a dangerous foe. As Goku has no self-control, and the strain on his body is enormous, as he launches punch after punch at Piccolo. Piccolo having infinite stamina, but that doesn't bother him, as he launches punch after punch after punch after punch after punch, as Piccolo is on his last leg. He can't compute what's going on right now, as Goku is not giving him any chance to breathe. He eviscerates Piccolo. Piccolo is barely alive, and as he's about to do his last attack, something stops him, as it turns out to be Mr. Popo. As Popo had now finished dealing with Chaozu, Chaozu's now trapped in the time chamber, which was a high IQ play, as now Popo explains how they're actually linked. So the fact that Piccolo is alive means that Kami has to be alive too. As they look at Kami, as Kami seems to be dead, but he was barely alive, slightly alive. And so as they start to try to, as Popo's trying to explain this to Goku, Goku is still going berserk, he's not listening to reason, as he then finishes off Piccolo, and Piccolo dies, which unfortunately also kills Kami, as Goku, realizing this, what kills his friend also, as Goku then powers down and falls asleep for 2 straight days due to the strain put on his body. He's then woken up by Popo, who explains what just happened. But Goku is angry. Bulma, just because of need for power, caused this. As King Kai then beams off to Goku's head, and he hears the voice of Kami, who's now talking since he's now a King Kai's world. And Kami explains that it's not too bad, it's fine. He's not angry or anything, things happen. Goku just needs to learn how to control his power better. And either way, it is Bulma's fault for what happened. But King Kai then tells Goku about how Kami and Piccolo are actually a species called Namekians. So he can simply find Dragon Balls from Namek, which gives Goku an idea. Goku then has an evil smile on his face, as he then beams off to where Capsule Corp is located. He is enraged at the fact that Bulma, due to her greed, caused basically the death of his best friend, and he's going to get Bulma. He's basically going to make sure they pay for it. So Goku arrives as Bulma is scared, like she's scared out of her mind because she'd never expected her plan to fail, as she's trying to launch any weapon she can at Goku, as Goku just shrugs them off as they're nothing compared to the power that he has now, as he then goes face to face with Bulma and then tells her, "You're gonna build me a spaceship in the next 3 weeks. That's all I'm giving you, 3 weeks, or I will destroy you and the rest of your family." As Bulma knows that Goku is not joking here, and he would do it, as he even has the power to destroy the planet if he wanted to. As now, Bulma works with Dr. Jerome and Dr. Briefs to try and build a spaceship that Goku needs. Goku then has the idea to tell Bulma to make the spaceship have a training room, as he got an idea from the hyperbolic time chamber. As then Bulma and Dr. Briefs use Goku's old space pod to make a spaceship that Goku can train in, and that will take him to this planet called Planet Namek. As then 3 weeks later, she goes to Goku with the completed spaceship. Goku then says, "Good work, I'm quite impressed." And Bulma then says, "So does this make up for everything?" hoping that she would be spared. As Goku then gets an evil smile on his face. And he says, "Oh yeah, it's no problem. Misunderstandings happen, you know. It's all good. Don't worry about it." As he then flies out of Capsule Corp. But before leaving, he launches one singular blast, destroying the whole Capsule Corp organization in one fell swoop. The only person that he decides to save is Dr. Gero, as he knows that Dr. Gero did not do this willingly, and he thinks that at least having one genius scientist would be quite useful in the future, and you never know what they could do. As now Capsule Corp is destroyed. So now, as we look into the remains of Capsule Corp, we see Mr. Briefs coming back, because it turns out that he wasn't in Capsule Corp at the time, and he sees the remains of Capsule Corp, and he sees his half-dead daughter lying there on the ground, crippled from the debris that has launched and hit her, as he then swears for his revenge against Goku and Piccolo and everyone else who caused this to happen to his daughter. As now we see Goku jet off towards Planet Namek. The training environment has the same high gravity things as the original, so Goku trains in this. He trained inside the space pod for the next 3 weeks until he arrives at Planet Namek, getting considerably stronger and gaining more control of his Ikari Kaioken form, which allows him to use it for a bit longer and to maintain it without losing control. So he then arrives to Planet Namek, where the people who live in Planet Namek then swarm him. The Namekians in this scenario are not the peace-loving, kind creatures that we know in the original story, actually. They are more of a violent race that use their mystical knowledge to receive bounties from anyone who's willing to pay, basically. And the wish system isn't just given to anyone who's pure of heart, but instead it's more of if you have enough money to pay, or if you can give the Namekian something that will benefit them, as they are not as pure of heart as before. So Goku goes to these Namekians and says, "I need your Dragon Balls. I have a friend to wish back." They then ask, "Why should we give them to you? What do you have in store for us?" And Goku says, "I'll have you know that the person I wish to revive was a Namekian with the powers to make Dragon Balls such as yourselves." As this piques their interest, as they do remember a Namekian hundreds of years ago who was sent away, according to their Grand Elder, as they decide to take him to Grand Elder Guru. As Goku then talks with Grand Elder Guru, and Guru takes a liking to Goku, as Guru then sees how Goku is a type of person who doesn't really aim to inflict harm on others for no reason, but instead just acts to improve his own personal gain. As Guru sympathizes with this, as he then tells Goku, "I'll tell you what, I'm feeling nice. I'll give you access to these Dragon Balls, just this once. And on top of that, I'll even give you the opportunity to have your potential unlocked. But in return, if I expect to be able to call on you whenever I need, in case there's anything going on that hampers me or my people's business dealings." As Goku then agrees to this deal, as Guru then gives him a machine, like a device that will be able to receive calls from him in case Namek is in danger. As Goku is now able to wish his friends back, basically to wish Kami back to life. So Kami is now back to life and he wakes up on Kami's lookout. While having trained with King Kai more and gaining more mastery of the Kaioken, Goku is then satisfied with this as he then leaves. Unbeknownst to Goku, his trip notified some forces that act around the universe, as they were listening in to a few of these, for a bit of this trend, like a bit of this negotiation. As we then see a Frieza Force soldier who was around the area by sheer chance trying to investigate if the Namekians actually did have Dragon Balls, find out that it was actually true and that they let someone else use them. As Frieza then gets notified that not only is there a Saiyan that is not accounted for, that just went to planet Namek, but on top of that, that the Dragon Balls are actually real and they were just used to do a wish. As the Frieza Force in this scenario, of course, are actually a good organization that try to spread peace around the universe. And they had barely allowed Namek to exist, because Namek in itself wasn't an evil planet, but instead they just worked according to how they were paid, no matter who paid them. But after hearing of these Dragon Balls and this power, Frieza realized that if he keeps letting Namek just use these Dragon Balls however anyone wishes, it will cause untold harm to the universe. And so Frieza then decides to take a trip to Namek in the next few months to try and sort this out and make sure that the Dragon Balls are in the right hands. As he then notifies the Saiyan forces that there was a Saiyan that had just gone to planet Namek, as this leaves the Saiyan society to think who it could have been. And they remember, especially Bardock and Raditz, they remember that there was a Saiyan, their own family, Kakarot, who they had sent away to planet Earth all those years ago. As this then prompts Raditz to decide to blast off to planet Earth in search of his long-lost brother. As now, we see that Goku arrives back and meets with Kami, and a while later, a spacepod lands nearby to Kami's lookout. As they come to check on it, as they see a tall man come out, as he then introduces himself as Goku's brother. He looks at Goku and shouts, "Kakarot, what have you been doing on this planet? You were supposed to have learned how to make it more peaceful, but it only seems to have become more chaotic ever since you've come here." As Goku then looks at him and says, "I don't even know who you are. Who's this Kakarot you speak of?" As Raditz then realizes that something must have happened to him for him to lose his memory, but he's still not any less evil than how they last saw him. So Raditz then says, if you're not going to learn how to be a better person, like by yourself, I might just have to teach you by force. I'm taking you back with me." As Goku then looks at Raditz and says, "There is no way you're gonna do that," as Raditz and Goku then spring into a fight. What's surprising to Goku is how strong Raditz actually is, because now that Planet Vegeta is a more peaceful planet, they don't have to hide their power and worry about Frieza getting jealous of them. So they were able to train and fight to their full potential, allowing them to become much stronger. So this fight is not as clear-cut as you would have assumed in the beginning or in the original story, as Raditz is a much stronger being. As Goku has to go into the Ikari Kaioken to just have an even fight with this Raditz guy. This leads to Kami to come in as they work together to fight against Raditz. And this culminates with them being able to finally defeat Raditz. Raditz is left barely alive, as Goku does not really plan to kill him. The reason behind this is not because Goku is a nice person, as I said before, but it's because if this actually is his brother, he might be useful in the future, or he might be able to turn him to his side. So Goku just tells Raditz to go back and never come back, because if he does, he will most certainly kill him and find this planet where he came from and kill everyone else too. As Raditz then laughs and says, "You definitely don't have the power to do that. In fact, in a year, I will come back with 2 different Saiyans, the strongest ones I know, and we will come and make sure that this planet is put back in the right hands, and we will send you to prison for your crimes." As Goku then laughs Raditz off and shoots one more blast at Raditz, killing him completely. As he thinks to himself, "Oh well, I give him a chance. It's his fault for dying." As this voice message then gets sent back to Planet Vegeta, as his parents cry, hearing about what Goku did to them, his own brother. As now, Bardock swears revenge on Kakarot, as he then joins Vegeta and Nappa to go and apprehend his son. So that's where I'll be leaving this part off. And if you guys enjoy it, and if it gets over 6 likes, I'll post the next part. And on top of this, I'm going to be starting a new series. So by request, the next series is going to be, what if Goku was an evil scientist? But instead of naming it that, because I don't really like the name, instead it will be called, what if Goku was like Dr. Giro? So stay tuned.